finally went to conference committee. And it was really a process of trying to find the 26 votes in the Senate, which was extremely difficult, and 51 votes in the House, trying to figure out if we had a stronger bill, we picked up more votes in the Senate. If we had a stronger bill, we lost bills in the House. If we had a weak bill with casinos, we lost votes in the Senate, and a weak bill we picked up. So that was a very interesting process of working, not so much with the lobby. I know that the gaming industry was present some around that, and people felt like they bought their way into having this exemption. Mm-hmm. They didn't seem to be much involved in the day-to-day lobbying on it. The advocates that had passed the tobacco tax increase, the Cancer Society was a key player in that. But it was a lot of negotiation behind the scenes to get the votes in the House and in the Senate to finally pass a bill that right now does allow the casino exemption and allows an exemption at the Veterans Home in Marshalltown. Right. But that was an example of trying to figure out how to get to just scrape by and get the votes to pass it. And
like putting a jigsaw puzzle together.
It was, and I think the thing that changed the debate on that issue was it moved away from a kind of a conversation about smokers' rights and bar owners' rights, and more focus on the impact of secondhand smoke on the roughly 100,000 people in Iowa that work in places that have smoking. And I think in terms of looking back now, we see that people are pretty happy with that move. That businesses, there have been some businesses that have struggled, some small bars in some of the smaller communities, but by and large, I think the implementation of that has gone quite smoothly.
We've come a long, long way in this tobacco issue since I got in the legislature, I know, because when I first got over there, people were smoking in the chamber.
I bet.
It was sometimes so dense you couldn't see from one side to the other.
Well, we had a smoking room off the Senate.
Oh, you do?
No, we did until about a year ago, and that's
and
now
it's
gone.
Finally
yeah,
gone.
It was actually a balcony outside.
Oh, I remember the balcony. Yes.
And we banned it there now, which is a good thing. But as a healthcare issue, it's probably those two things: raising the tax and making workplaces safe have probably been the two biggest public health and healthcare cost containment issues we've tackled. And the tobacco issue, it takes a while for somebody to smoking for 30 years before those healthcare costs and the impact arrives. But we made those two things together probably are the most important healthcare stuff we've done in the last 30 years.
Wow. Now, in the process of getting something passed, I think a lot of people think that the floor debate is the most important thing. Could you address that?
Well, usually by the time a bill gets on the Senate calendar, it's gone through a subcommittee meeting where 3 members in the Senate will two out of 3 have to vote it forward. Mm-hmm. Then it goes to the full committee, whatever committee that bill is assigned to, comes out of committee, and then if it's a bill that's going to move forward, the Senate leader has to decide to put it on the Senate calendar, which is essentially what we're going to debate, and then it's brought up and debated. And by and large, most of the issues are decided before then. Mm-hmm. People get up typically in the Senate where we don't talk as much probably as they do in the House in terms of just the style and the operation of the chamber. So a member will get up that's running the bill, will describe the bill, mm-hmm. probably pretty briefly, not always, and then it's open for questions. Some members will get up and say, what does this bill do, or what about this part of the bill, and the members will debate. Then the floor manager will answer questions about the bill, and then typically we'll go to a vote on the bill. Occasionally there's bills, probably 85% of what we do is the bill comes up, the floor manager introduces it, there are no questions, we go to a vote on it. Probably 10 to 15% of issues they're more partisan or they're more ideologically based, where we'll be doing something that people want to talk about it and make their points about why this is either good or bad. And those typically are bills that we're going to have division on, where we're going to have a roll call vote, and we have roll call votes on all the bills ultimately, but where there'll be the majority party will pass it on their votes and won't expect to get votes from the minority party.
But on those 85% of the bills that just go through, that is really a bipartisan.
Yes, it is. You bet.
Thing.
Yeah, I'd say 85% of the bills that we pass are, 48 to 2 or 48 to 0 or 50 to 0.
But
kind
we
of
usually don't hear much about them.
No.
We only hear about the ones that people are fighting
That's
over.
right. That's right.
Okay. Senator, how can people get in touch with you if they have an opinion on some issue and they want to get it to you?
Well, you can email me or phone me at home. I'm in the phone book. I'm also online. If you Google me online, you can get to my website. You can get to the state legislature's homepage. I have a legislative email address that I see every day, and I have a personal email address that's out there that I see every day. But email's usually the best way. It's fastest. But I love to talk to people, and if people want to meet, I'm happy to do that as well.
Great. Okay. What are the big issues that we should be looking for in the next session?
Well, I think next session, and this isn't like the last few sessions, the financial position of the state is certainly of concern. Where the state budget will be, where state revenues will be. They've been declining some. We're in the middle of federal stimulus money that really helped all the states, but certainly helped us in making our commitments to education and healthcare and public safety. We've spent some of that money, and next time we're going to have a little less. So I think we're going to try and get a budget balanced and get out of town probably. I think we're looking at a 90-day session. We're cutting it short by 10 days to save some money as well. But I think the budget and just trying to maintain status quo and the commitments we've made to health care and education will be key.
And we're going to get passenger rail service to Chicago?
I think we're going to see progress on that. Hopefully our application, our federal application, which apparently is quite competitive, there's a lot of demand to get at least to Iowa City with the first round from Chicago, and there's certainly people in central Iowa that would like to see us in Des Moines.
Okay. Well, some of us are really looking forward to having that happen.
That'd be great.
Well, I want to thank you for being with us today, and keep up the good work.
It's my pleasure, Jane. Thanks for inviting me.
Good. And thank you for being with us. Thank you for watching. We hope that you too will have a vantage point now that you've seen a little bit of what goes on behind the scenes.